Good morning, and we are off on another adventure, and we want to bring you along with us as we go. We are right now camped at the Salt Lake KOA. We left yesterday afternoon and had some adventures on our way up. We are headed to Washington State, where I have one of my younger grandsons who is graduating from high school. And I am so excited because this is the first time in years that because of my previous full-time job, I will this time be able to attend a family event like this, whereas before I was unable to do so with my grandchildren that lived a little bit far away. We are taking it slowly, traveling about 5 hours a day, and our next stop will be Boise. And yesterday afternoon they had severe thunderstorms in Boise. Lots of warnings, and the weather report is for more thunderstorms this afternoon, so we want to hurry up and get there. So here is our rig, and we are packed in here like sardines. We do not care for this campground at all, so we will be making reservations at a different place for our return trip. I am learning, this is the first time that we have traveled with our trailer across country. Generally, we go to a place and park our trailer and then camp there for several days. But this time we are taking a cross-country trip, and so we have packed differently. I'm bringing different types of food, and I will share all of that with you when we have a quiet time. Right now, we are rushing a little bit to try to get on the road so that we can get to Boise before the thunderstorms. So here's Jim. Good morning, Jim.
Hi, how you doing? I'm alive. How are you? I've got some work to do, clean up and that kind of thing.
How long do you think it'll take us before we're ready to go?
45 minutes, maybe an hour, like normal.
Okay. All right, well, our trailer is configured differently on the inside. We do not have our four-wheelers with us, and I will show you that configuration also at a later time. So I'm going to sign off for now, and as we travel, as we pass things that are of interest, I will certainly turn the camera back on and share those things with you. So see you soon. This is what our trailer looks like when we travel without the four-wheelers. The furniture is packed up except for the chairs. The chairs we have strapped in place so we don't have to lift them up into the bed each time. And there is the watermelon plate shelf which is a bed, or actually it turns into two benches and two small tables. All of that is behind those plates, and I made a cardboard barrier to try to keep them from falling out. And then, of course, we have both of our bicycles. And yes, my bicycle is all finished and it works as good as new. In fact, it looks brand new. It's very exciting to have those changes to my bike. So this is how we travel. We travel much lighter without the four-wheelers, of course, and we just go zipping along the highway. We are in Idaho. Lots and lots of windmills, giant windmills. We are about an hour from Boise and headed into a thunderstorm, so we'll see how that goes. The windmills are still right there. Good morning. We are in Boise at the KOA, and once again, we are packed in like sardines, and that has just given me more data that we will never use a KOA again. So you can get an idea by looking at how close together everybody is. We had to unhook our truck because it wouldn't fit. Otherwise, here we are. We wanted to leave our truck hooked on for a fast getaway each morning, but boy, oh boy, it sure did not happen. Today, this is our third day, and by the end of the day, I will be at my daughter's house, and I have not seen them for, I think, almost 3 years. My two grandsons have just sprouted up, They're so tall now, and of course one is graduating from high school, which is a very exciting thing for their family. Yesterday we got caught in that awful storm, and the wind was so bad that we were blowing around the freeway. So we got off the freeway and sheltered at large, newer gas station for about 45 minutes until the worst was over, and then we were able to complete our trip to Boise for our overnight stay. The clouds are still packed in pretty good, so we may get some more rain today. We have about a 5-hour drive on in to where we are going in Washington State. We'll cross, I think we cross the Snake River. Anyway, the scenery is beautiful, and I will give you some shots out the window as we go. We will certainly cross the Columbia River, and I'll show you that as well, because it's pretty spectacular, especially to those of us who live in such an arid part of the country with no large rivers like these two river systems. So we are packing up and getting ready to go, so we will head out, and I will be showing you some things along the route today. Oh, I'm feeling a little bit of rain right now. So see you soon. Here we are back in the rain. Big river. I think it's the Snake River coming into Ontario. And we are in Oregon. More views of the Snake River that separates Idaho from Oregon, and we're on the Oregon side. Wind turbines on the top of the hill ahead of us. It looks like a couple of them are missing blades, which is interesting because several miles back we saw two great big long diesel trucks, each one carrying a single blade. They're huge. I had no idea how large those blades were up close. We are leaving La Grande, headed toward Pendleton. Still a little bit of rain. We've been in and out of rain mostly all day long. Between here and Pendleton there is a hill that is called Cabbage Hill, or years ago I knew it as Dead Man's Hill, because it used to be pretty treacherous. It's very windy, and we drop down a long ways to a valley floor. I'm a little bit nervous, but I'll show you as soon as we get there. These are the beautiful forests in Oregon right before we hit Dead Man's Hill, which is ahead of us shortly, and then we'll drop down into a valley and be out of these big trees. Dead Man Pass. We are being warned that this is a 6% downgrade, which means it's going to drop 6 feet for every 100 feet we travel. That's a pretty steep downgrade. But you can see the valley below, and there's Pendleton way down there. So we have a ways to go around these nasty curves.
Even a viewpoint on
You're making me nervous. Can you slow down?
you. I am slowing down.
I'm not interested in stopping at the viewpoint. I just want to get down this hill. They have gradually improved this road over the years to where it isn't as nearly as scary as it used to be. So part of my uneasiness is probably a throwback to when I was driving this and it was a one-lane road.
There's a ramp.
Yeah, there's a runaway truck ramp right there.
No ramp. Just
Honey, this, watch it. Get around him. And there's the valley and Pendleton down below, and the runaway truck ramp ahead of us. In just a moment, we will be crossing the mighty Columbia River, which is the boundary between Oregon and Washington. So soon we will be on the Washington side. There's our bridge coming up. Lots of power generation at this dam. You can see the river right down there. There's a big old lumber barge that just crossed under the bridge going toward Portland. There it is, right there.
Right there. There it is. Right there. Maybe we can fly up.
I'll try to get a good shot of the river. There we go. There's the dam. You can see it down the way a little ways. That's the McNary Dam. Love this river. Lived by it for several years. There's so much more water in this part of the country than there is where we are currently living. And we are now in Washington. So here we are at our Japanese restaurant. These are my two grandsons. Aaron is the one who's graduating, and then there's Wyatt and my son-in-law Charlie and my daughter Katie, and there's Jim. So we're so happy to finally be here and out of the rain. And some excitement is going on over there.
Medium well or medium rare?
Medium well.
Medium well. How about
We are having
steak
fun.
up? Medium rare.
So we are here at Aaron's graduation. This is a huge venue, hundreds of people here. His graduating class is 400, and we're sitting at the very back of the auditorium. So they're going to be coming out right there, and we'll see if we can get a picture. Pomp and circumstances always makes me cry. I won't. That's the one thing I will miss about no longer being a faculty member, is that I won't be marching in any more graduations. We are now on our way home. We just came through Pendleton. So this is a solar farm right outside of Pendleton, Oregon. Ahead of us is the row of hills that is the beginning of Dead Man's Pass. We are at the top of the hill at a little rest stop. We're going to have a little breakfast. As you can see, we are back up in the trees. One thing I can say for Oregon is they have beautiful rest stops. So we're going to take a few minutes and rest. We're glad to be at the top of Dead Man's Pass, and we're going to have a little bit of breakfast. So there's our rig. We just crossed over from Oregon into Idaho, and this is a beautiful little rest stop. It's Welcome to Idaho, and right over here is the Snake River that forms the boundary between Oregon and Idaho. We're going to take a quick look, and then we're going to go take a little rest in the trailer. Lots of agricultural land. So we're on our way. We'll be at camp in just a little bit. Good morning. This is day 2 of our 3-day trip, and we are here in Boise at a really nice campground, so much better than the KOA. But we're packing up this morning and we'll be on the way. We will be staying just outside of Salt Lake tonight, and this is I think this is our biggest leg. But at the end, when we are home tomorrow, I will give a summary of my thoughts on traveling like this. And I have a lot of thoughts, so I'll be happy to share those with you for what our impressions are of traveling this way. So we'll see you soon. This is a blade to one of those wind turbines. this oversized blade. We're passing it. 3 cars in back and one that's way out in front. So here it is.
Close up in person.
It just goes on and on. It's just a big wow. This is us once again broken down. We blew another tire. We are headed into the nearest town to get all new tires. They've just about finished getting the spare on. Good morning. It is the morning of our last day, day 3, and we are camped just outside of Salt Lake. We still have to go through Salt Lake, and the traffic in the morning can be pretty hairy. So we are going to do the best that we can. The freeway is just over this fence, and so it is quite noisy. But it didn't bother us at all. Last night we slept. We had a very harrowing day yesterday with our blowout on another tire on our trailer. We went to the next town and got 4 brand new tires. So we should be set just fine to go home. So we will take it from there and we will see you soon. We made it home without incident on our 3rd day of travel. We just ran into a little bit of rain, horrible traffic through Salt Lake City. It was a white knuckle time for me, bless Jim's heart. He thought I was freaking out, and I was. It was a little bit tough, but we're home. We're so glad to be home. My daughter, Katie, from up in Washington, said, "Mom, so glad you're home. Now it's time to take a few days and rest from your vacation." And boy, that's about the truth. Here is our debriefing. We learned for us, some really important things. Now, this may not apply to everyone, but it certainly does to us. We were gone for 8 days and 7 nights. 4 of those 7 nights were spent at a campground, 2 going and 2 coming. And we switched campgrounds. We had reservations in KOAs coming back, and they were so terrible that we canceled those reservations and went through Good Sam and got 2 really good campgrounds. So that was a lot better coming home. Of the 8 days, 6 of them were spent traveling, almost all day long, pulling our trailer. So here are the good things about traveling across country with a trailer from our perspective. First of all, you have your bedroom and your bathroom right with you. If you need to use the facilities, you can pull off at a rest stop and do whatever you want. A couple of times, Jim was so exhausted from the tenseness of driving. We hit some severe thunderstorms, big wind, and had to get off the freeway and wait out a storm. He was exhausted, and so we just pulled over at a rest stop, popped out the slide out, folded down the bed, and he took a little nap. And one of the times I joined him, so that part was very delightful. The not so delightful part of traveling with a trailer is traveling with a trailer. Each night that we traveled, we had to set everything up, get stuff out, plug stuff in. Each morning, we had to reverse that process. It is a lot of work, and it takes Jim about 45 minutes. He's very fastidious, does things in a very safe manner, and that is very wearing on him. For me, I had to put some of the furniture down on the inside of the trailer, not a big deal. It was very, very wearing and not very much fun. It was really fun to spend 3 nights in my daughter's driveway where we didn't have to do any of that. And so that part was good. The other thing I flubbed up on was the food. For 17 years, we have been trailering and we have loved it. We've gone camping all over the place, but we drive either from 1 to 5 hours to our campsite, get everything set up from the trailer, unload the 4-wheelers, and then we're set for 4 or 5 or 6 days, however long we're going to camp. And then we load everything back in and go home. That's not what this is, but I planned food as if we were going to be camping, and I planned food that was a little bit too work intensive. I took steaks, I took hamburger to make smash burgers. We didn't take any of our heavy griddles or the tabletop Blackstone or the tabletop Traeger, but we have a small travel grill that we take. It's a Coleman. We didn't even feel like getting it out of the back of the truck. By the time we got set up at camp, we were both exhausted, and what would have been nice if I would have packed things that I just could heat and eat. And so that was kind of a downside. The food was a big letdown. The steaks are still frozen in the freezer out in the trailer. I have to unload everything from the trailer in a little while. I would change the food that we would take when we go across country and make it simple and easy and things that I can just do on the stove inside the trailer. We had some pretty harrowing experiences, and it was the harrowingness was amplified because we were pulling a trailer. We blew a tire on the trailer. That's our second blown tire in 2 weeks. It was terrifying. There was barely enough room on the shoulder for us to pull over. It took a while for the Good Sam person to come out and replace the blown tire with the spare. We were already a little bit tense, wondering if another tire was going to blow this whole trip because of the one that occurred 2 weeks ago. So fortunately, we were blessed that 12 miles away there was a small little, was it in Idaho, Jim?
Idaho.
Yeah, a small little Idaho town with a farm store that just happened to have the tires that same size that fit our trailer. So we pulled in there and we got 4 brand new tires. The 5th tire, the spare, was brand new 2 weeks ago when we blew that tire. So we're set. Bottom line is, I don't think we'll ever do that again. I think that we will fly, rent a car, spend more time with family. In 8 days, being only able to spend 2 full days with my family was a letdown. We spent more time, triple the time, on the road. And so we're going to think of other ways. But we learned that lessons that we learned were invaluable. I hope that they are invaluable to you as well. And we did get to see some pretty exciting things. We got to see a whole lot of water, a whole lot of green, which is so different than where we live down here in the desert Southwest. So that was delightful. And wasn't it fun to see that blade from the wind turbine? And we saw, how many, Jim? Did we see 4 of them?
Something like that.
4 on the road. And one up close and personal, we saw it 2 or 3 times. I nearly got run over by a car when Jim took an exit to get me up high so that I could have the camera ready when it drove by us again. And a car came down that ramp and honked wildly at me. I guess I was too much in the road. Anyway, we are safe. We are healthy. We had a good night's rest. So that is our trip up north. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for being with us, and we'll see you soon for another video.